I have to do something for my own. I never wanted to work for anybody or never wanted to work for work. I was diagnosed with meningitis, and that's like a brain fever, if you guys know about it. The only thing that made me back on my feet was nutrition. Our plans, our dreams will all be shattered. The only thing that cured me was amla.
Hi, welcome to season 1 of Unlayering the podcast. Today we bring to you a very young and inspiring nutrition expert and wellness enthusiast, Sakshi Lalwani. She has an expertise in PCOS, diabetes, thyroid, and many more fields. Today we debunk a lot of myths together, and I hope you enjoy the episode.
So, Sakshi, why don't you tell us about your journey? How it all started, right from your childhood days to where you are now. And well, don't laugh. So, it's like a very, very long story. I did my maths honors from Venki, and I was very good at maths. I scored 100 on 100 in my 12th. But when I did my maths honors, the dreams were shattered. It was so difficult. It was so bookish, and everything was so like the formulas and everything. So I then did my MBA, and after my MBA, I did a job in Bank of America. Now I did not like the corporate setup, and I thought that listen, this is not for me. I have to do something for my own. Then I started a jewelry business. Wow. Then that was also not for me. So I was finding what is for me and why, because I never wanted to work for anybody or never wanted to work for work. I want to do something which I have interest in and which I have more passion about. And then suddenly in 2018, I think, no, 2008, sorry, I fell sick and I was diagnosed with meningitis. And that's like a brain fever, if you guys know about it. So I think that this is my second life. And I think that, the doctors had said that she's gone. This is it. This is it. So I am really, really thankful to my mother and my father. I was living with them back then. And they, the only thing that made me back on my feet was nutrition, was healthy eating. And that's when I realized that if you're not healthy and if our bodies are not strong from within, I don't think that we can conquer anything. Our plans, our dreams will all be shattered. So that's how my interest in health and nutrition began. And then I did my research and, I read about meningitis, how it is so deadly. I had the deadlier version of it. I had the TB meningitis. So it was even more hard. Very extreme. Very extreme. I developed a little squint in my eye after that. The only thing that cured me was amla. And I had amla and aloe vera juice like literally for every morning for 3 years. So that's what actually inspired me to go into this profession. And that's when, I took it forward and I landed here. I did my course also, of course, from YMCA. And then I did my internship from BL Kapoor.
How do you divide your time and how do you balance out so much? Because when I go through your stories, I'm like, oh my God, she's doing so much in a day. How do you balance all of this? That's what I want to know.
Well, but nobody can balance. Nobody can. It is just, take every day as it comes. I don't have a set itinerary. I don't make a planner. I just take everything that it comes. I
One
know
day at
what
a
to
time.
do. Yeah, I know what to do today. Kal ki kal dekhenge.
When you're in this phase, I see a lot of moms and entrepreneurs and influencers and nutritionists struggling with this level of guilt. Do you ever lay down in bed at night feeling that guilt, and how do you cope with that guilt?
I make sure to spend at least 2 hours in a day with my son. We talk, we play. That's very important. And that's how I manage it, I think. Because at the end of the day, I'm working for him. And at the end of the day, everything that I'm doing, of course, I also want to grow, but I want to make a good and a better life for him as well. So he understands that. And I think, yeah, that's what I do.
Amazing. To delve a little bit deeper and unlayer your nutritional journey, you mentioned how you got into it and what led you to it. At what point does someone go to the doctor having to undergo tests? At what point of PCOS is it reversible through nutrition and through lifestyle? I want to just hear more about it from your perspective.
See, I'll talk about numbers. So basically, 8 to about 13% of the reproductive women actually suffer from PCOS worldwide, and 70% out of them they don't know about. They don't get it diagnosed. They don't know what's going on in their bodies. So that's the number, 70%, which is a huge, huge high number. So, when we talk about PCOS, it's a very under discussed topic, I think. It's very prevalent, of course, but um, especially between younger girls. And what happens is that they suddenly get hair on their face, they get acne on their cheeks, and they have a lot of mood swings. They get cranky, and
Pretty
they
much permanently PMSing.
yeah, permanently PMSing, exactly.
Not just at that time of the month, but
Yeah.
times through.
Yes. So, and they don't realize what's happening. So they go to the drugstore, they buy a lot of ointments, they buy a lot of cosmetics, they probably change a lot of creams. What's happening to
Go
us?
to dermatologist.
Exactly. Go to dermatologist. Then what happens is that they get a lot of body shaming done. You know, everybody is not supportive.
Yeah.
Everybody in the society will not look at them as if something is happening to
Yeah.
them. They'll probably some people make fun, some
They
people
buy a laser package to get rid of
exactly.
those.
And the girls who are at that stage, they then go to depression. They face a lot of anxiety. They face a lot of stress. That aggravates it even more.
Because then it's having an impact on the mental health. Right?
Exactly. Mental health is always related to everything. If you're strong mentally, I think nothing can harm you ever. And if you are not sorted back, up there, every disease can peep in. Every disease. So PCOS is not just about cysts in the ovary. It can sometimes be because of a high level of androgens in your body. That's a particular hormone, or probably heavy flow or irregular periods, and this happens because of stress. First reason is because of stress. Unfortunately, right now we cannot cure permanently PCOS. It gradually goes away on its own because of your lifestyle and because of your the choices and the health choices that you're making in your life. But no medication is there to cure it. So, it's the need of an hour. It's very important to talk about it. What should be eaten, what should be avoided, and how you should cope up with all of these things. And that's what I do basically. I make people aware. I have done a lot of research and podcasts also I've done interviews on it. My page is filled up with informative reels about PCOS, diabetes, etc. Because I want people to know that, it's not the end of the life. And it is very much, you can live a very happy and very contented life even if you have PCOS, even if it's not gone away. Just the right amount of changes in lifestyle that you want to make, you just make that and everything will be sorted. So, yeah.
You just very beautifully led me to my next question, which I had in mind. As much as I love being a resident of India and spending so much time here, we live in a country which is one of the known diabetes capitals in the world. I I feel there's a lot of myths which are closely related to diabetes, and I see you doing a lot of short reels which are very watchable and very, very informative. What do you think is the biggest myths that needs to be busted about diabetes?
First, it's very important to know what is diabetes.
Yeah.
So, diabetes, when our blood has a lot of sugar in it. So, whenever we eat anything starchy, it's simple carbs, processed foods, all those pastries, bakery items, breads,
Confectionaries.
everything, the mattis, the marodis, all these things, when we eat, then it gets converted into glucose and it goes into the bloodstream. Now, our pancreas produce insulin. The amount of insulin that the pancreas can produce, that in a normal healthy human being is very much sufficient to get that blood sugar out from the blood and get it into the cells, which get then converted into energy, and that can also be stored as fat that can be used as energy later.
Right.
So when that is not working, so when either the insulin is not produced that much, the insulin runs short, that is type 1 diabetes. And when the cells cannot react to the insulin, probably the insulin is doing its work, it's doing its job, but the cells are not reacting, then that's type 2 diabetes. So these are the two diabetes that are there. Now, the very, what will I say, the most important myth, if I talk about of diabetes, is that I cannot eat sweets.
Yeah.
Right? If I eat sweets, I will have diabetes. Now, if you're a normal person, you can definitely eat sweets, but of course, there has to be a balancing out, a compensation done in your lifestyle. So, what I do is that whenever I indulge or whenever I eat anything that is high on trans fats, high on sweets, or high on
Glycemic
calories,
index.
whatever unhealthy that I eat, I just compensate it the next day with a detox. So I will give my liver, give my kidneys that time to digest it properly. I will go light on my stomach
To break it down, yeah.
to break it down. If I'll just continue what I'm eating, I think that, oh, I am a nutritionist, I eat healthy. Why should I give it a break? That does not compensate. And I'm not talking about skipping meals here. I'm talking about detoxifying it. A lot of drinks are there that help in diabetes, like, there's methi dana, there's flax seeds, there's chia seeds. All of these are very good for diabetes. They are rich in antioxidants and they help the cells to absorb the blood sugar, and that is what we need.
Because I associate most deadly diseases with the three things: stress, sleep, and diabetes.
Yeah.
Because I have a family history of these. I've seen people really suffer through it, and it all really began with these three. So I think the 9:1 is a great way of
Yes.
telling yourself and others around you to maintain a healthy lifestyle. So for you, Amla has of course been like a miraculous superfood which almost gave you your second life. But can you tell me about some superfoods that us young girls and young boys can include in our lifestyles to glow and, to have healthier hair?
See, generally, this skin and hair problem is generally related to a larger chunk, of course, is related to stress. When you do the 6 minutes of meditation in a day, you get transformed to a place where you self realize about your life and about yourself so much that it gives you so calmness and such a relaxing thing inside you. I recently went to a meditation center, and I did not believe in it earlier. I was like, who has the time? Who has the time to do it? 6 minutes was also very much, I cannot take out 6 minutes for my meditation. But then when I attended this session, and the music was such, and the person who was speaking was so melodious and so polite, that they transformed me into a place where I could actually see that what all have I done in my life? What all can I achieve? Where am I right now? What am I doing wrong? There was so much clarity that I thought that, wow, in just 10 minutes? So, first thing is this, that, if you give yourself 6 minutes, 10 minutes of self or me time, and you don't think about the world and you just meditate and relax, that actually, the whole toxins go out of your body, I think.
Yeah.
I think that.
It's like a way of releasing everything.
Yes,
within.
yes. And what I have seen with my skin, when I was in my college, I also had a lot of breakouts, a lot of open pores, and my skin was not that healthy. So I was eating okay,
Yeah.
but I was not, I did not have the ideal skin. I used to see girls who were very, very with clear skin.
Flawless.
What is this? Why can't I have that skin? Right now, also, I tell my mom that, listen, aapki ne kuch galat khaya hoga. And, I'm like that, but touch wood. But what I did in my life to actually better my skin was that first was I used to take amla and aloe vera. And then there's this ashgard, white petha. Okay, uska, it is like a रामबाण कहते हैं ना हिंदी में superfood. So it has antioxidants, it has omega-3, it has vitamin E, it has zinc, it has selenium, it has
Wow.
phosphorus. It is so much high in nutrition that just a simple plain half glass of ashgard juice every day, and that's very good for immunity as well.
Okay.
So that is also one thing that everybody can include in their
Is
life.
this more beneficial if consumed on an empty stomach?
Empty stomach, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that. Empty stomach is the best way to go about it. And also, there's this a plant called moringa.
The green moringa.
The green moringa. So my mother-in-law actually makes tablets of it. And आपको सबको भिजवाई होंगी.
Yes,
All,
I have
everybody
some in my
has it.
bedside drawer.
So she makes tablets at home. She puts some turmeric, she puts some ginger, and some little bit of gur to bind it. And then she makes tablets of moringa. Now, moringa is such a superfood that it has 7 times more vitamin C as orange. It has 4 times calcium as milk. And it is full of antioxidants. Like, you name it and it has it. So one tablet, or probably you can take about 1 teaspoon of moringa powder in just half glass of warm water, lukewarm water. And that too, you have empty stomach. So you don't have to take everything empty stomach. You start with one thing. Probably if you're starting with amla aloe vera, you do it for 2 months. Yes. Then you change to ashgard. Then you change to moringa. You don't have to take all 3 things together. Yeah.
But the best time is to take it empty stomach, and that really helps. Now, some people come to me, a lot of girls come to me and they ask me about some masks that, I can't take anything. Can you please tell me what can I apply on my skin? Very natural it should be. So that does not work. It goes
You are
both
what you
way.
eat.
Yeah, it goes both way.
Yeah.
So you have to eat also. And sometimes what happens is that the breakouts come out more because every body is different. Every body reacts to everything very differently. So no two individuals are same. But if it stops and, just give it about 2 days and you're good to go. So, uh, if they're having a very chronic acne problem, like
Yeah.
it's persisting for more than 5 years and it's not going away, then definitely there has to be a test done for hormones. It can, of course, always not be PCOS. There can be some other hormonal imbalances going inside the body as well that can causing that. But there's definitely something inside the body that is causing. Now, first can be their lifestyle, probably a lot of processed foods. Smoking is one of the reasons. A lot of people, a lot of Gen Zs are doing those vapes. That is causing a lot of trouble these days. Then there can be less sleep. This is also one major problem of acne. So if these three things are sorted and still the acne is there, then of course ultrasound is required to see if the cysts are there in ovary. How big the cysts are, that also depends. And the medication starts after that. Now, sometimes the doctor prescribes those pills, the contraceptive pill. So that always does not help. It decreases the symptoms for the while, but it is not a solution. It's not a cure for that. The basic and the major cure, I'm very sorry if I'm reiterating myself again and again, is your lifestyle change. You have to do something about yourself. The way that you're living, probably you feel that a biscuit with chai in the morning is okay. I'm just having one biscuit, but that's not just one biscuit. That's an addition to the other stuff, and also it's trans fat. It's a lot of jama hua ghee. I don't know what they're putting inside. I just hate biscuits. There are a lot of healthy options that you can have at Max. Pumpkin seeds, there are makhanas, bhuna chana. There are you can make popcorns at home. So you can of course put butter in them, but wo bahar wale, the packet popcorns I'm not talking.
Not
The
bad.
active ones not.
Yeah.
But yeah. Then there's sunflower seeds. There are trail mixes that comes of seeds, different seeds. Also, I would like to mention seed cycling here. So people who are suffering from PCOS and or any other hormonal problem, they can practice seed cycling. Seed cycling is done in the two phases of our periods. One is the follicular phase and one is the luteal phase. So the follicular is one with when your period starts till you're ovulating, and then the second one is the later one after ovulation till your period starts. Now, in the follicular phase, you have to have 2 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds and flax seeds. And in the luteal phase, you have to have 2 tablespoons of white till, like sesame, white sesame, and sunflower seeds. Empty stomach with lukewarm water. This really helps to balance out the hormones. And this is the most natural way to go about it. So, I have seen with my clients that with seed cycling and with a very good lifestyle change that we do, their acne, their stress levels, their cyst ka size have also decreased.
Wow.
It does not go away. That's what I'm saying. It's not completely curable. When
But
you
it
give,
helps.
it
But it's
helps.
manageable.
Yes, and it's very well normal to
Something you can live with.
this in your ovary. It's
As long as it's benign and
exactly
amazing.
yes.
Yeah.
So these are some of the
Since we're in this chunk of, busting a lot of myths, my next myth is about milk. So as we were children, of course, we started off with our mother's milk. Some people started with, other forms of milk. And when we talk to our moms and grandmoms and our daddies and nannies, we're told that, पता नहीं एक lactose intolerance क्या होता है. हमारे ज़माने में तो हम dinner नहीं खा के mango shake पी लेते थे. And ये वाला rose milk पी लेते थे. And milk is full of calcium and this, that. And nowadays, because there's so much controversy and so many different thoughts and ways of looking at milk, do you consume milk? And what do you advise your clients?
See, I am in a very strong belief that the milk that is there in India is not milk.
Wow.
And it's very much adulterated. I'm really sorry to say, but I don't trust the milk that has been sold to us here. And I don't give any milk to my clients. What I see is that I also follow Sadhguru a lot, and he talks about milk as well. And he has said that, the milk that we need is the only milk that we get from our mother.
Yeah.
Nothing is needed above that.
And we're
Nothing
only the
is needed.
species
Yes.
in living being that are still consuming milk from another,
Another mothers.
like
Yeah.
a cow, which we actually worship.
Yeah. And
So it
depriving
doesn't make
our kids,
sense.
yeah,
Correct.
from the same milk. And they adulterate it with some water, or probably they
And
put
it's
some
ways of branding, right?
preservatives.
A2 milk and overpriced glass
A2 milk,
bottles.
yeah.
Are we actually getting it tested? Do we know what's inside it? No.
So that's why I just stay away from it. I think that every mind and every person has its own perception. So I'm not influencing anybody, because milk is one topic that everybody has a
Very
opinion on.
Right.
But according to me, milk is not needed. And the calcium that we can get is, we can get from whitetail, we can get from eggs,
Makhanas.
we can get from makhanas. Kala chana has a lot of calcium. And after a certain time, because in India particularly, the sun is very much hot and the rays are very they're not protected, they're just reaching us like that. The UV radiations are very harsh. That's why we will be deprived of calcium and vitamin D regardless. So
Because
we
of
will
how
have
we're
to take the
situated.
supplement. One at one time we will have to go on a supplement for vitamin D and for calcium, and these both have to be taken together. So one thing, if we're depriving the other, the effect is not coming on our body. So both of the things have to be taken together. Whenever I go to the market, whatever I am buying from the market, I generally check the label. And you have to check the label. Now, if they're promoting PCOS, if they're saying that it's PCOS friendly, it will have less of starch, it will have more of complex carbs, less of simple carbs, then it'll have more of protein, it'll have omega-3, it'll have a lot of what you can say is vitamin E in it. So check the percentage. What generally happens is that they claim that they have these things, and that will be only 0.2 or 0.5% in the whole in the whole ingredient list. So we have to be very aware. When you take fiber, it generally, the fiber does not get digested in our body. It passes on as stool, so it gives bulk to the stool. And when it gives bulk, we feel fuller, and we do not feel constipated. Now, when we are not facing that, the hormones that are busy in our constipation process, in our passing our stool process, in cleaning the colon, they're working properly. So those part is clear. Then when we're digesting it properly, because the fiber is there, the hormones working there are clear. So hormonal problem hogi hi nahi. When you're eating right, the portion size, uh, the plate has all the three macros distributed. It has to be carbs, proteins, fats, very equally distributed. And the fats, if I talk about ghee is very important in our diet. Abhi aajkal बहुत famous हो गया that a lot of actresses are having ghee first thing in the morning, fat first, sorry. Yeah, so that's very, very, we have been doing this, like my dadi used to do it when I was a little girl. I was like 6 months old, and she used to tell my mother to have ghee first thing in the morning. And my mom was like, I get more fat. Why should I have it? Those pinnies that our dadi used to make us have, that was just because of ghee jaya.
And even bullet coffee,
Bullet coffee.
it's been an ongoing thing in India for
yes.
many, many years.
But that still has caffeine, right? I would not suggest first thing in the morning as a bullet coffee. Of course, if you're on a keto diet, and that should also be very limited time period, probably 3-4 months, not more than that. If you're on that, then you can start with a caffeine and a fat first. But otherwise, if you're just living a normal lifestyle, you're following just normal pattern, ghee first is very good. Just 1 teaspoon ghee with warm water in the morning. It goes inside your body, it clears all your organs. It fastens up your metabolism. You feel very energetic. It burns the fat down.
Yeah.
The fat burns the fat. That's the contrary statement here. So it's very good. So fat, protein may, what we can take is that we can have, if vegetarians, we can have tofu, then soya, broccoli. In non-vegetarians, we can have egg, meat, chicken. Red meat, of course, is not good, but salmon, very important. Omega-3. So all of these things, if are distributed in our plate equally, we will never rush to the doctor. We will never have on any opportunity that we will want a medication going inside our body. So that's very simple. And one thing that I very propagate on is that you should exercise. Any physical activity that you like. Maybe, certain people come and say that, we have a lot of pain in our knees, we cannot do any exercise. So you can do functional training, you can lie down on a mat, you can do a lot of things on that. You can watch a TV video on YouTube, and you can follow a lot of beginners exercises which do not involve jumping or skipping or something like that will harm your knees. And that, after a time, will actually cure the knee problem that you have. The exercise will cure it. So a lifestyle change gradually has a long-term effect on anything. I do not differentiate a PCOS person, I do not differentiate a diabetes person. There is a particular lifestyle change that we follow, and if we do that, we avoid the complex carbs, we shift to the millets, we shift to, there's this hormone called GLP-1. Now, if we have to naturally increase it, we have to shift to bajra. We should not take wheat. Wheat is basically a waste of grain. It's like only glucose. It is nothing else.
Yeah.
It's calories. So, in order to increase GLP-1, we have to shift to the millets. Bajra ho gaya, quinoa, then dalia. People think that we want rotis. We can't live without rotis in India.
That's not true.
Yeah. But, these atas are very good in rotis. Yeah. You can just mix all of these atas and you can make a very fluffy, nice roti. These are not like bran.
Yeah.
And then you have to come to a conclusion that this is what I can do. And when you shift to these things and when you include them gradually and naturally in your lifestyle, every problem is sorted.
Yeah. Some wonderful tips about, what we should eat, what we should avoid. A lot of insight to take back and make changes even for the three of us. Just to move a little bit away from foods and lifestyle, I want to connect to previous conversations we were just having. What does 6 minutes of meditation mean to Sakshi Lalwani? Does she do the same meditation every day?
So the mandir in my house, I get a lot of peace there. And I thank God for whatever He has given to me and whatever He has done for me. And that's my kind of meditation. And that makes me feel a lot relaxation. I feel calm. And when I step out, then I'm like very much ready. Okay, now what to do? What is there in our to-do list for today? So that's what my meditation. And you're very right that meditation for everybody is very different. And
There's no right or wrong.
there's no right or wrong.
What could make you feel at peace? Maybe something I cannot focus on. What is that one thing that you're most grateful for?
I think everything. I don't have any one. But if you ask me one thing, from my son, I'm very grateful for a healthy boy, and my son is my life. So yeah, I cannot imagine life without him.
To delve a little bit more into your role as a mother, I'm sure there's been something very, very challenging about motherhood. What is that one thing that you've struggled with, or perhaps you're still struggling with?
See, we have to say no to a lot of things that we want to. And that comes in all aspects of life. Be it your work, be it something that is related to your relationship, be it emotional, anything. Your son comes first.
So we're shooting this episode on a day which is broken records in terms of temperature in Delhi, the scorching heat. There's warnings out there from the IMD about only stepping out for things that are essential. There's people in the hospital for heat strokes. If you could share with us some of the cooling foods that we can all include in our diets to stay away from all of that. Of course, we're all aware of keeping ourselves hydrated and having your nimbu pani and your 3-4 liters of water and all of that. But please suggest some other cooling foods that can help us beat this season in Delhi.
Recently, I made this dish with a very famous chef here in Delhi, and that's called Bore Basi. It's a very famous dish with the laborers that you talk about, with the people who cannot afford certain things. It's basically rice, cooked rice, and they ferment it, like they keep it overnight in water, and then they eat it the next day. So you cook your rice, you keep it in water overnight. It gets soaked in water, it gets fermented. What happens after the fermentation is that it regains all the vitamins back. The starch goes away. It cuts fat. It is so nourishing and so cooling. That is a staple dish of Chhattisgarh. The CM there actually promoted this dish that everyone should have it because it's so cooling and it's so
easy to make.
Everybody has it in their houses. So this is one dish that I recently got to know about. Then if we generally talk about it's the electrolytes that we should have. We should have lots of coconut water, lots of lemonades that keeps us hydrated. That's the main funda of beating the heat. Then pineapple is very good. If we have pineapple and papaya as a combination, it is very cooling and refreshing for your body. So that also is very beneficial. Then the fruits and vegetables that have a lot of water in them, tori, tinda, these are very refreshing. And cucumber. There's this drink that I always tell my clients: cucumber, dhania, like the coriander, and the mint. So you just grind everything together and you leave the pulp in it and just have the water with it. You don't have to infuse it. Infuse wala is something else. But you just grind it all together
Then I get there
for the hydration.
logo and automatic.
It cuts fat as well.
Yeah. I want to delve back into your journey as an influencer, as a blogger, as as someone who's very, very active on the social front. I know you recently went through a little bit of an injury through a sport, which led you to be on bed rest for a while. How do you deal with FOMO?
That's where meditation helped me a lot. I would say that in my niche, what I do is that I talk about health and wellness. I'm into this sector where I'm educating people about this. So attending events is not my priority, first thing. Earlier it was. Earlier I was in this view that, I'm not invited to this event. Why? And maybe the person does not like me, or what is happening, because this industry is a mini Bollywood. And I can understand what influencers are facing, because some people are getting those opportunities, some are not, and it's a niche that everybody is trying to make something for themselves. I will not blame them, because everybody wants to be famous, everybody wants to be seen. In my case, my niche is my health and my sector of fitness, and I cater to people. I want clients who are actually who believe in this way and who believe in what I support. Going to events has been beneficial for me because I get recognized there. A lot of brands come up to me for PRs. A lot of brands come up to me for collaborations. I spread my knowledge through their brand to a wider audience. So that is why I go to events. Otherwise, if I'm not going, I don't have any FOMO. Because after my meditation, I realized that I am a person who is very self-contented of what I have. Of course, I want to grow. I will not lie. I want to earn more. I want to be seen more. I want to make it real high. I want to be up there. But I don't think that I will sacrifice something for that. Or probably I will have a FOMO, or I will just call up that girl and blast her for not calling me to an event. Girls are doing that. And that is where the self-realization and the calmness that I'm talking about comes. 6 minutes has changed my life.
One last conversation I wanted to throw some light upon is something that a term that's, of course, been heard for a while, but also newly incorporated in the lives of many, which is IF, intermittent fasting.
Yes. See, if you talk about our ancient times and our the people who have actually been into Ayurveda and everything, they promote fasting a lot. Fasting is a very, very natural and a very good way to detox your body. And people have actually stayed without food for 40 days, for 80 days. During the
You don't actually
ancient
need to
times.
eat.
We don't need that much food. Our body is self-sufficient. And fasting gives it the time to actually make the nutrients reach each cell in our body. And then that benefits out of it. So I am an ardent believer of fasting. The fasting that we do in Navratras is not fasting. We don't have to eat the alus and the
Fried
sabudanas and the fries and the kuttus to fast. Fasting is without food. Now, this IF has actually incorporated that thing back in our lives. 16 hours of no food is what I preach, and that is beneficial in the next level. Your brain functions better, your eyesight improves, your energy levels improve, you think more clearly. Fasting is amazing. So IF, if done properly, certain people, have black coffee in the fasting hours, or probably they have some water, like some chia seeds water. Something that is not allowed. Fasting means fasting. Only water. So 16 hours, if you're having your dinner at 8, then till 12 in the morning, 16 hours, you have to be without food.
Yeah.